Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for another war video. We've got war number 5 here. This is SSx-1 versus Legion, another perennial Masters Alliance. They always give us a little bit of a tough time. The bands, as you saw, were Scorpion, Torch, and Hercules. And the team I'm bringing in is Apocalypse and Dr. Doom, with some pre-fights being dropped by Magneto House of X. It's going to be 5 fights. And before we get started, I do want to give a big shout out to my officer, Nah. He's got a great YouTube channel as well. You definitely want to check out his war. He has some amazing America Chavez fights, as well as his rank 5 Mr. Negative. I won't spoil it past there because it was a really cool war. But I'm specifically bringing him up because this is the first time that he's done a plan for SSx. He did it from top to bottom, and it was a really, really solid plan. I really personally enjoyed the fights I had. We had a pretty nice Apoc ramp dropping off a horseman. It was just very, very well designed. So congrats to you, Nah. And please, if you don't have a sub for that channel yet, go over there and give him a thumbs up and a sub. Anyway, this first fight was actually the one that I was least worried about because Mantis doesn't have the hardest animations and kit to deal with. She doesn't have a lot of health. We've got Apocalypse. He's going to be absolutely turning off masochism so that the node is non-existent. The only things we have to worry about are her tranquilize, which can make our debuffs not stick, because even though we have the purify accuracy reduction, we don't have anything to deal with tranquilize. But in the plan, it said to use a regen boost. And at first I didn't know why, but then I remembered in her kit that she has, you can't get tranquilized when you have a regen effect. Now, what you just saw there was, I swear to God that I practiced these animations, but I feel like her heavy was not over, and she threw the special one and intercepted with a heavy. Then I was a little flustered and I made a second mistake, which was assuming my parry would stick while she had 2 cleanse passives on her. So now Apoc has like 5 million health, so he's going to be fine. But it's just kind of funny that I did that, and then she's almost dead. But you know, as they say, fool me once. She did it again, dude. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe her recovery time on the heavy is just a lot smaller of a window than I thought. But we did actually have to kind of play around her kit there because she did have the tranquilize up, and then also we had an encroaching sleep on us, so I had to time my special attack so that, you know, kind of like encroaching stun, you can get rid of that. So, all right, that was not the start to the war that I wanted to see, but fortunately I was boosted enough that we were able to get her down. And now we move on to the slightly more dangerous fights. These are path 6B. Essentially, you know, you get really hurt if you tank a special attack against these champions here, because on this node they have like a 200% prowess, and then on the next node, if you block hits off of the special, then they gain prowess and they can potentially go unblockable, and who wants to deal with an unblockable Tigra, right? So I still have the regen boost going, which is probably good in case I take any reverb, but we do start with a heavy counter, which means he gets the reverb at 0 power and we're not dealing with any reverb damage. So again, the name of the game, since we don't have an invuln on, is just to do our best to not get hit, play it safe. You've seen me use Apoc on some extremely dangerous fights before, where I just decided to use double edge and 200% power backs and just like completely nuke the opponent. On this war, you know, there are 12 wars, right? So you don't necessarily have the resources to do that in every single war, and I'm very comfortable using Apoc in fights like this, so that's why we aren't running any recoil masteries. And I was able to throw on a 150% mutant boost, but we are just kind of actually fighting with Apocalypse with only 2 genetic code and not trying to nuke. And you know, if you're playing well, you're going to be fine. We are taking a little bit of reverb. Anytime we block any of the specials, they have a 200% prowess, so they are going to hurt a little bit. But yeah, the name of the game is just being careful, making sure that you don't get swiped by that special 2, which can happen if you're not paying attention. Here I hit 3 times, start the protection, get the reverb going, and and I should be able to finish him with this combo into the special 1. And yeah, that's going to be enough to get him down. So not bad at all. Just don't get hit is the name of that game. Be a little careful of the reverb, but it's okay. We can use a couple potions to potion up. So that was our second Apoc fight, and we're going to do one more Apoc fight. It's this Tigra, and on this one, I'm going Power Start 1. Again, we don't have like the full nuke setup, but even with a 150% mutant boost and 3 genetic code, I think Power Start 1's the way to go. Just get Tigra down before anything happens. An invuln against Tigra is not necessarily going to help, because if you do get smashed by her special 2 and she goes unblockable and starts red damaging you, the invuln isn't going to save you from that. So in this case, I think Power Start 1 is definitely the way to go, just to kind of accelerate your ramp and get the fight over quickly. And again, you do need to practice her specials before going in, because sometimes it's easy to just block the special 1 or block hits off of the special 2, and then that's going to ramp her, make her fully unblockable, which is very bad. Now, Apoc, of course, is always good here because of the disorient immunity. So now Hard Knock Life is turned off. Don't have to worry about it. Time the special 2 here so that she doesn't get 2 bars of power. And then hopefully we can just bait that. You just have to kind of be quick enough to not block any of it or get hit by the unblockable. She's very friendly, throwing it again. And then we're going to just do one more special 2. And again, with the 150 power backs, it's not quite enough to get all the way back up, but it is enough damage to get her down, and no issues there. Obviously, against Tigra, there's always the chance to slip up and get absolutely wrecked, especially when she's got some prowess potential. But there we did quite well, and Apoc is done for the war. Now, anytime you place Hyperion, if Doom can take the fight, it's just an absolute joke. We are going to use a Magneto House of X pre-fight here just to deal with Mighty Charge. Why not? We might as well, because we have 3 pre-fights that we can use, and we kind of only needed 1 absolutely essential. So again, always check your diamonds, make sure that your pre-fights stick. And yeah, aside from the ebb and flow intercept, there's not really much going on here. We're armor break immune, obviously, so the crumbling armor doesn't do anything. And with Mighty Charge, it means stuff like our incinerates probably won't stick for that long. But in terms of, just countering Hyperion with his Sig ability grabbing off those power game buffs and stuff, Doom is just a joke here. To use against Hyperion, and I think even in this fight, we don't even proc the ebb and flow at all. We just hit him while he's got the protection on, and just go for it. So I do throw on an invulnerability boost because I'm gonna want to use that on my next fight, and I figured I can get this down fast enough that it will still exist for the Sasquatch. And, just in case he completely turtles up and does like back-to-back special 3s or something, which is very unlikely against Dr. Doom. But you never know. So we did get an intercept early. I think that's the only time that the protection is off. And we're just going to go to the races here with some Doom cycles. I specifically didn't put on power back boost for this one because you don't need them. You are able to steal the power gain, and it's Doom versus Hyperion, like I said before. I think even in the plan it said LOL in the assignment. Hyperion just is not the defender that he used to be in 2017, there are so many mystics that just absolutely shut him off, and I feel like his AI is pretty friendly at throwing specials anyway, but we don't even need to. This is the second special 3. Even with the protection, it's taking off a lot of health, and we're just going to kind of do a traditional Doom cycle here and throw a special 2, and then this is almost enough to kill him, even with that protection, even with his built-in energy resistance and all that. And then that heavy still got through for 16k, even with protection. So yeah, that's Doom versus Hyperion. That was a nice little warm-up fight for the Sasquatch. Now, I do have a few tools here. We still have the invuln on. I am going to pop on Mystic power back boosts. And I have talked about these before, that with Doom, if you're very used to using him in content with traditional Doom cycles, sometimes using power back boost can kind of throw you off. And I talked to Doom connoisseur himself, Nerd, who is one of the best Doom players in Tier 1. And he gave me sort of a slightly different rotation. He's basically like, end with a light attack so that they don't go red after the Doom cycle, after throwing the special 3. As long as you end in a light, they won't go red, right? And then if you throw a special 2 with the aura on, you're totally fine because it doesn't grant them any power, and you basically just forgo the special 1. So as I said in the preview, this fight, I think I pretty much got the perfect fight here. Some of it had to do with AI and RNG, but we're starting with the staggers because we want to be getting rid of those vigilance. That will give him a little bit of power as we're dealing with the return policy node, but it will also give us power because of Mystic Dispersion. So we get our first special 3 off. We are more than safe because he's not even close to Wrath. Of course, you have to worry a little bit about Wrath because that includes stun immunity, which means after the special 3, he will not be stunned. But here we do medium, light, medium, and then light, light, medium, light, light. We easily get to 2 bars, and then we throw that. It doesn't matter that he has so much power because we can just do another special 1. And then again, we have more power than him. I decide to just throw it because Wrath is coming soon. I want to just kind of stay aggressive. And because I was aggressive and kept him in his corner, we have the entire arena to just dash back and get through this Wrath. And, decks the special 1s, decks the heavies, and then we get a nice parry there. And now we're basically set up to go again. He's starting to get his regens. We throw a special 1. Between the Mystic Dispersion and everything, we're almost up to a special 2. And again, we can very safely throw this special 3 because he is not even close to Wrath. And again, because of the power backs, we're going to aim to go straight to the special 2 this time like we did the last time. So we get the cheeky extra light in, medium, light, medium, and then we go all the way up to the special 2. As long as you end in a light attack, he's never going to go red. That gives us a little bit of power back so that we can basically finish him off here. Despair Mastery helps blunt the healing, and boom, there we go. So 98 hits, about 2 minutes. Rank 4 Sasquatch goes down just like that. I was definitely a little nervous for that fight since it was the first time I've ever taken it, but Doom is just such a hard counter. We love to see it. And then finally, we get a little bit of energy to go to this Spidey Supreme. And as I mentioned, with the planning here, we're able to drop off this Horseman for an Archangel and the House of X pre-fight so that he doesn't have to worry about Conflictor. And also with this House of X pre-fight, I'm pretty sure Sim was able to do like a light attack followed by a heavy, which means that even the combat deja vu prowess and prowess puncture stuff didn't happen at all. So again, really, really solid plan. We make sure that the diamonds stick, and that's going to end my war. So I just let Simula know that the Hearsman, which I spelled wrong, and HOX are on, and that's going to be the end of the war. I did throw my last House of X on the rank 5 Korg boss just to give Absorbing Man a little bit of an attack boost, because House of X does work on all champions in terms of giving the 15% attack. So anyway, I had a really fun war. It went well. It wasn't too stressful because Apoc and Doom are so good. We did unfortunately lose again, so our record is now 2-3, which is unfortunate. But Legion just did not die. I feel like these top alliances nowadays just aren't dying. Maybe it's the tactic being a little bit easier. Maybe it's just experience and having more rank 4 attackers. I'm not sure. But either way, we do need to tighten up the ship just a little bit if we want to keep winning. Hopefully we get some favorable matchups coming up, and we can salvage a 3-3 record at the end of this week. But regardless, hope you enjoyed my video, maybe even learned something, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.